people you want to call that name and say it's a great big myth. They're marching because it's getting desperate. It's marching because not enough people are waking up. But I do know one thing. I posted I did a live on Friday, and I have had like so many messages. So if I've not got back to you, I'm sorry. Messages, phone calls, voice notes from all over the world asking me, what do I do about my child? Because it wasn't so real when it was just as an adult. Like, you know, I'm nearly 50 years old. So if that had to go in me, it's kind of a different thing. Like, but my children, this is why we're marching, because it's not us. And let me just explain, because the media never, ever covers things in the way they really were. Yesterday, like I say, I struggle with anxiety with crowds. I didn't have one anxiety attack. I came home and I was exhilarated and energized because I had marched with people whose values, whose energy aligns with mine. There were every age. There were children in prams. Like, do you think parents take children in prams if it's dangerous? There were people with dogs. There were people in wheelchairs, and there was a 100-year-old man. A 100-year-old man who decided not to come with a face covering, not to be frightened, got his little walking stick, served in World War II for your children. And you think he's a conspiracy theorist. What if, and this is my question to everybody, what if they're right? That's the question you really need to ask yourself. What if all of these people, are close to 1 million, are right? Wouldn't it be prudent to just be a little bit more responsible in what they might have to say? Maybe listen to a few of the things that they've listened to, watched a few of the videos they're keen to send you. Don't you think that might just serve you? It amazes me that we have numbers on our own government website that don't make sense. We've got a broadcasting system that didn't broadcast that much. So what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to come on now, I'm going to talk about what they did do yesterday to divert people, to scare them just a little bit more. Because that's what they do. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, here we go. Didn't bother. But let's talk about what they did bother with last night. Should we talk about that? And excuse me, I've got 4 hours of sleep and I am really starting to show. Okay, so let's talk about how they diverted it yesterday. I've got my figures from a girl on Instagram and she's got all the links and everything else. So we're going to go approximate on those figures, but you're going to get the gist of it. Is that okay with everyone? All right, so don't start going, oh, you're out by 100. Like, no, you're going to get the idea of this, okay, just to see how this has been manipulated. So I'm just going to put my glasses on because I can see I've got some people going here and just give me a little shout out if you're watching this. Hey Jane, hey George, hey da-da-da-da, okay. Right, okay, hi Shah, Kaylin, Victoria. Okay, so let me give you some figures of what got documented last night. And this, guys, is where people need to wake up. There were famous people marching yesterday. There was, and all the stuff, because I Googled it first thing, I thought, oh, let's see whether bothered to do anything on it, and I could only find old ones. I couldn't find, and this is what they did bother to report on last night. So I Googled it first thing. I thought, I bet this hasn't been covered. You know, this very peaceful, very, very peaceful, very gorgeous march. It was just the most joyous and wonderful thing to be part of. It was joyous to not wear this because they don't work. I've just been shopping. I mean, Cribs Causeway in them out. I've just been shopping. I've not put one on. But I was subjected to sit on the floor in the shopping mall to drink a cup of coffee. So that's our new normal. When it's open space in there, people are in more sheltered stuff outside. Wake up is what I'm saying to people. Wake up to it. Wake up. Okay, so let's talk about let's talk about what got reported last night. Thank you to the lovely nurse. I will put her name in here on Instagram. She's a nurse, by the way. Okay, so the new panic, the new fear, the new smoke screen, the new thing that they want to hide and blind and trick us into, because that's most of the calls that I'm getting now. This is most of the calls, the messages and everything I'm getting now is the fear. And that's exactly what they want. They want you frightened. But I encourage you to look at that picture of that old man. He was there with a walking stick, walking in that much. It literally brings me to tears. I'll try not to cry on you guys, because he understood. He understood what was going on. He'd done his research. He's 100. He served and fought for our country, and he's not letting this happen. He doesn't want this to happen. Honestly, it was so powerful, guys. If I can just share something. But no one there wants this to be right. And that's what I really want to impress on people. I think this divide needs to stop. And we need to go, okay, let's hear each other out. Let's just hear each other out. Yeah, no, just call them names, because they're fighting for you. They're fighting for your children. They're fighting for the greater good. And you just keep sending them stuff going, no, you've got to get this, you've got to get this, because that's helping the greater good. But why don't we start listening to each other's sides? Right, okay, so the smoke screen. We have an Indian double mutant strain. Mutant, I might have written that down wrong, I've had 4 hours sleep. With a plethora of horrific images. Powerful, that. Very powerful. So let's just go through the numbers of how this plays out, because if you've gone back on anything on my feed, numbers are very powerful and they can be used in very different ways. So approximately in India, the population is 1.4 billion. India's population is 17.9% of the entire world. Let me repeat that, 1.4 billion. Okay, India's peak with this, I can't keep saying it because I'll get, and that should tell you everything. They'll take me down. That should tell you everything you need to know. Just tell you everything you need. India's peak is lower than the UK's highest peak. So the UK peaked at 1,823 deaths January 20th. India's highest peak is 1,625 on the 20th of April. Are you starting to understand that? So India has never gone over 1 death per million. Let that sink in. The UK reached 18 per million. Still not that high. 1.4 billion people, and there's 1,625 deaths at its peak. You are being scaremongered by the government. It's a great big play. It's a great big smokescreen, and people need to wake up. It's so powerful for them to put these images on there to frighten you, but the numbers are from their websites. And if you bothered to look yourself, or if you bothered to listen to that friend who is so irritating to you, I know, like me, scared. What are those people marching for? Let's just talk about why they're scared. They're scared because there are agendas being pushed. Why is there a 197 million pound budget in advertising for a cure you don't need? Think about that. You should not need to be sold to that you need something if there's this huge people dropping like flies. You wouldn't need it. You don't need to be advertised to if it was like obvious. But you see, you've been played because you're running around with these on and it feels deathly and deadly, and the hand sanitizers and everything else, and we've all gone down that garden path. And it's they want to start putting that experiment in 12-year-olds in September. So that's why people are marching, amongst other things, because it's never right. Does this make sense to anybody? I feel myself getting emotional again. Those people are marching for you. And it's fine if you're not getting it, but you do need to stop name calling, and you might need to just wake up to a few interesting facts. Stop putting your head in the flipping sand, people. People got out with, like I say, 100-year-old man got out and marched for future generations who fought for this country. If he can be bothered to do the maths, if he can be bothered to Google and look at the actual websites and stop reading what you want to see, and this is what you want to see. Have it, let's go back to normal. That's what you want to see. Just have it, it's going to be fine, just put it in, it's fine, you know, we're so grateful for science. Yeah. We're so grateful for science. There's nothing wrong with this. No, never been tested, but we'll be all right because we can go back to normal. The freedoms are going to go, and they're going to go quickly. I have hope. Yesterday, I feel excited for the first time. A number of people, that marched, the number of people that came together, and the atmosphere and the energy and the just gorgeousness of that collective of those people coming together saying, I'm awake. And you know what? We love you. If you don't understand this, we love you, but we need to unite, and we need to really make sure that these things, these things don't get passed. So what do we not want passed? What are we fighting for? Because somebody put on one of my other feeds, you know, oh, it's okay. The passport's okay. It's temporary. It won't be. It's a slippery slope. I encourage you to go and watch Russell Brand. I encourage you, because he did an amazing, I can't do it like Russell, right? I mean, Russell's Russell, he's amazing. But he did this amazing thing of how the government will never retract. That's the slope. They dangle little tidbits. They're not stupid. If they want to sell you something, they're going to get the best advertising campaign. They're going to get the best play. Don't be played. It's like, honestly, they won't retract it. And then you start explaining to people, what does that look like? Like zero freedom. Zero freedom. So I'm gonna keep it short and sweet today, unless anyone's got any comments, but I encourage, thank you, so proud of you, truth will prevail. You know, I am encouraged. I do feel excited because yesterday was phenomenal, and I just feel like there's another one on the 15th. I believe it's a global march. I believe, I don't have all the details yet, and I just know there's going to be an absolute extraordinary turnout, because people are, I know that they're waking up, because I'm receiving the messages and can't get any sleep. I'm getting the phone calls, people saying, I want to see the stuff, I want to see what's going on now, because it's getting too close to these children. It's getting too close to them. It is, you know, that's why there's this urgency now. This is why you're going to see this everywhere over social media, because people don't want to hold back anymore. This, back to normal? It's not happening. It's crazy days if you think it is.
we nearly